Before I begin today's video, I'd like to point out that you can watch a live stream of the 3-move World Championship match between Sergio Scarpetta and Alex Moiseyev. The live stream is on Brian Hinkle's YouTube channel, and I'll post a direct link to it in the description below. Tomorrow is their first rest day, and I'll be live streaming to provide some commentary and analysis of their games. It's an exciting match so far, and I'm hopeful some masters will join me in the chat to make it a good collaborative effort. But back to today's video. I'm going to discuss the Kelso Single corner opening today. Now, the single corner opening of 11-15 and 22-18 is very popular. But what happens if your opponent begins the game with 10-15 instead of Old Faithful with 11-15? White can still get a very good game with this 22-18 reply, and I'll demonstrate a couple of good lines of play. The Kelso Single opens up with 10-15, followed by the 22-18 response. So after the capture, Red has a number of moves at its disposal here. Probably the most natural for many of you is this 11-15 response, therefore taking the piece off 18 and replacing it with your own back on 15 again. But this response is actually inferior because now White can advance out of its single corner with 21-17. If 9-13 is played, then White can respond 30-25, and it's all sound but definitely inferior for the first side. So instead, it's actually best not to exchange off with 11-15 right away. Instead, to stop the 21-17 move, it's actually best to play 9-13 right away. And you're probably thinking, well, isn't that counterintuitive? Going to the side of the board eliminates any kind of center attack here for Red. And because you are stopping this 21-17 in its tracks, it is the best move on the board. Now, White has a couple of different attacks in hand still here. And probably the most natural, once again, is White going out to this 14 square and securing it. And that will be one line of attack that I'll show. And the other is this 29-25, which I think is best. But we'll go over that after I show this 18-14 variation. So a typical play may continue with 11-15. And now White capturing two center squares here. By 24-19. And now Red needs to start thinking about deploying a flanking defense, which it does here. Now Red has to be careful because there is a trap on the board if Red goes the natural 4-8. I'm sure some of you can see this trap, but I'll pause a couple seconds here for you to see how White can move and win on this board. So the correct continuation for White is to play 14-10. Now if Red captures 6-24, then it's just a 3 for 2, as White can go in for a king. So instead, Red is going to jump this way. And now White can attack 22-17. We have the double jump. Red is going to take 2 back, but now White has the triple jump on the board. And the king, and the win because it is up 1 piece. So that's a nice trap. So instead of 4-8, 6-9 is instead the correct defense, and I will play that. So setting up the board once again. So instead of 4-8, 6-9 is the correct route to play. And now white further dominates the center of the board, creating a very powerful diagonal here, maintaining a pyramid, and having 3 pieces on these center squares. White can develop 1-6 next to continue with this flank defense. Again, red is starting to not have very many options left. White is going to eliminate more of these pieces here. Now waiting with 3-7. 31-26 to protect any kind of 2 for 2 here. 4-8 now can be played. 26-23, 13-17, 32-28, and now the 2 for 2 can take place at this time. White capturing 23-14. Now waiting with 8-11, and then after 27-23, red deploys a pretty nice tactic here, and that's pitching 5-9 first, and then lining up with 6-9 next with a 2 for 2. So a nice combination right there. And then white is just going to develop 25-22. Red gets the king, 22-18. Looking to follow. And then after 19-15, white is going to get 2 kings. And it's a really good drawn game. So that's one variation. Now I'll talk about the 29-25 attack next. Okay, let's take a look at the 29-25 attack next. So again, the Kelso Single. (9-13), again stopping the 21-17 advance. And now 29-25. Now it's okay for red to advance 11-15 because again, the red piece is safely on 13. And now white is going to continue to develop out of the single corner. And now red is going to do much of the same. White goes to 23-18 to put some pressure on this piece on 15, and red is going to cover up with 8-11. 27-23 is a good development here. And now red is going to develop this 5-9 move. White has a very good move with 21-17, and really this move is going to entice red to make potentially 2 inferior moves here. The first is this 7-10, which is meant very powerfully by this 23-19 move, as Richard Fortman says in his basic checkers. And 6-10 is also no good because you have this 30-25 attack next, and the red double corner is soon to be broken. So instead, the best play here for red is to go 1-5. Now white can play 30-25 safely. And then after 7-10, White can then advance to stop this 2-for-1 from happening with 25-21. Red is going to exchange the piece off 18 to get control of the center. White is going to wait with 32-27, and red's going to do the same thing with 3-7 next. White can exchange off 24-19 as best, but it is really critical that white take the correct jump. The center jump, which again looks natural at first glance, will actually lose by 11-15. If 19-16, red can just steal this piece with 14-18 next, and if the cover-up, red can just go 7-11, and the game is over for white. So instead, it is critical that the side jump capture is made. So after 27-20, red can go 11-15, and then after the 23-19 exchange, red doesn't have very much room because it is worried about this exposed elbow. So after 7-11, we have the really good tactical theme here, which is seen in a lot of games with the pitch. And the 2-for-2, the crown, for a really good draw. So I'll show this 29-25 variation, but from the other side, so you can see it from red's perspective. I'll go over the 29-25 variation, but this time you can see it from red's perspective. So again, the Kelso Single. And now 9-13. 24-19 can also be played. It can be cut down with 11-15 next, but it just goes to show just how much scope white in fact does have in this opening. So after 29-25, red can cut down the piece on 18 by 11-15 next. And now both sides developing out of their single corner. This really good 5-9 move, followed by the key 1-5, 7-10, not 6-10, 7-10 instead, covering up to prevent any 2-for-1 here. Now red can exchange with 9-14. White is going to wait, and now red is going to wait as well. And now we can start to exchange pieces with 24-19. Again, the critical side jump and not the center capture. The center capture will lose by 11-15 next. So instead the side capture. And now 11-15, and then exchanging off with 23-19. And now a common drawing theme seen in many games with 7-11 next, pitch with 20-16, and he pitch again to disrupt this elbow with 19-15. And now white can get a double jump and a king for a really good draw. So please stay tuned. Tomorrow, early afternoon East Coast time, I will begin live streaming, going over some of the games that we've seen so far in the Scarpetta Moiseyev World Championship match. Thanks, as always, for watching.